Little Kitty Big City came out earlier this year to pretty great success, but I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. I'm trying to take a look at every indie game that's pretty high profile that comes out this year, so obviously I had to check this one out. This game is beautifully animated, and it starts with a great cutscene of us as the titular little kitty sleeping on a high up windowsill where we accidentally roll off mid-nap. As we fall to the ground below, we try to catch ourselves using a crow that's flying by, and then we eventually land on a little ledge, but when we get greeted by a dog, we get a little bit scared and jump all the way down to the streets below. So now we've got to get our house cat back home. That seems like it'll be a little bit of a process though, because we don't know anything about the streets down here, so maybe we need to learn a thing or two. This game also has a great in-game screen that lists all of the achievements once you uncover the first part of them, so that will be super helpful. Starting out, the controls in this game felt pretty bad to me. Hold A to long jump with just the regular move keys. I don't know, something about it wasn't clicking. Eventually it all comes together, but at the start here it was a little bit rough. The city seems to have some flooding going on, so we need to do some careful parkour to avoid the water in the streets, because we're a cat, come on. And eventually we manage to find that same crow that we tried to grab on our way down in the opening cutscene. The crow doesn't seem that upset though, because it does ask us to meet it in a future location, but we can't fly, so we're gonna have a little bit of a hard time tracking him through the air. I also had to pause very frequently at the start of this game because my little kitty in the big city just would not leave me alone at the start of this game. Her name is Ronnie and she is pictured on the screen here. Hope you enjoy those little images that don't really get shared anywhere else. After I regain control, I find a color-coded soccer ball and goal, so of course I go ahead and score that and learn that this will be an ongoing quest. Maybe even an achievement later. We also quickly earn our first achievement decluttering for knocking 10 items off of walls and breaking them. We exit our quiet little neighborhood and get into the city proper, where we are immediately met by a pretty mean dog gatekeeping part of the map, but also that crow we were looking for. We look up at our apartment so far up in the distance, and we come to the realization that there is no way we're going to be making it there as we are right now. We can't just fly back up like the crow can, but maybe the crow can help us, and that's where we learn that this crow is the ultimate opportunist. All around the map, both hidden and not, there are these little shiny objects that we can pick up, and as you know, crows love shiny things. So if we can collect 25 of those shiny things, the crow can go grab a fish for us, and then we can use that energy to get a little bit further up. Shinies can be found in a lot of places, like digging around in trash cans, for example. Another amazing feature of this game are the hats that are both scattered throughout the world and that you can get as rewards for finishing up certain quests. The first one that we find here is the Ladybug hat, and this is definitely adorable, but I ended up taking it off because I felt like it would clutter things up a little bit. I want to wait for a hat that really calls to me. We move on and we learn that we definitely have a lot to learn left in this world. We've been an inside cat our whole lives, so we don't know anything about the outside cat tech, such as trying to catch birds for their feathers. Luckily, there is a wise street cat that can teach us the ways. And our friends just keep coming as we move around a corner and find our good pal Tanuki. Well, new good pal. We didn't know them before, obviously, but we're gonna be great friends, I think. Tanuki is a great inventor who has been tinkering around with the pipes down below. Maybe that's why all of that water is out on the street. Tanuki has created this game's fast travel system, but in order to get the pipes working, we're gonna need to bring her some feathers, so we'll come back. I find another one of those color-coded soccer balls, and as I'm slowly walking it to the net, a walking by human decides to come help me out, and this earns me the achievement to me to you because he passed the soccer ball. I guess this achievement might actually be missable if you've scored all of the soccer balls before you get the achievement, but I don't know, seems kind of hard to not get it here. Immediately after that, we earn our third achievement, Cat-like Reflexes, for catching a bird while it's in the air. Of course, this is a catch and release sport though, no birds were harmed. We bring our 3 feathers back to Tanuki and we hop in the portal system, which takes us to the other side of the fence. The other side of the fence happens to be a little bit of a construction area, but luckily for us we find another hat that is a construction hat that we can go ahead and pop on our head. What are we, some kind of rescue cat or something? I actually thought that maybe the construction worker would kick us out if we didn't have this hard hat on while we were walking around in here, which would have been kind of funny, but that is not the case. Inside the construction site, we meet yet another friend named Beetle, who is the assistant to a very popular social media influencer cat. But there's one problem. Beetle just dropped her phone in the wet cement. So her whole life is kinda in there and her job is riding on this, so maybe we need to go pick up a new phone for her somehow. We earned the achievement Industrial Artist for leaving our paw prints in the wet cement. I don't know why this didn't unlock when I walked through it the first time, but at least we got it, I guess. And also the construction guy didn't even get a little bit mad. Kinda weird. Another cool feature of this game is while all of the people are walking around us, some of them have phones or other items in their hands, and if we knock them down, they'll drop those items and then we can steal them. We bring Beetle her new phone and she is thrilled. Hopefully she knows like her passwords and everything so she can get back into her accounts. We actually get another benefit here as well. We earn the achievement Snap Happy for getting our own phone, which is the one Beetle dropped in concrete. Doesn't really function other than the camera, but at least we can use that to take a cool selfie with Beetle. We enter the local corner store and decide to write up a pretty cool Facebook message for the lady that runs this place. She doesn't seem to recognize our artistic genius though, because she throws us out of the store. At least we earn the achievement and stay out though. We do get to meet the owner's cat named the Mayor though, and the Mayor is a super cool cat who teaches us all about the power of using the emote wheel. The first time we use an emote, we earn the achievement Can't Stop the Feelings. We went with Yuck for the first time, but that one's not super great, honestly. I'm a personal fan of the one where you just have a little lie down. We take a turn off of the main city path where we wander into a back garden and we find a chameleon, which is a little confusing because chameleons are normally kinda famously hard to spot, you know? And honestly, this chameleon seems a little bit confused about how we can see him too. I mean, he's bright green and wearing a top hat. How can you miss him, right? Even with his brightly rainbow-colored chat messages, he claims that he's never been spotted before, and we must have some weird advantage with our cat sight, even though there's lots of other cats on the road. So this is the beginning of one of the game's longest running quests, where this chameleon is going to jump from site to site, giving us riddles to find him in the next location. Not going to include a whole lot of that, but honestly Chameleon is one of the best characters in this game. We will be seeing him a lot. Chameleon was up on a little bit of a rooftop, so I decided to take this opportunity to jump on a nearby passerby, which actually earns the achievement Surprise. I wasn't expecting this, but that was super cool. After that big jump, I actually went AFK for the aforementioned cat problems, and I accidentally earned the achievement Trip Hazard for knocking down 20 people in the street. Again, didn't know that was coming, but cool nonetheless. We've completed a loop of the first area of the game now, so we go ahead and return to the Crow and exchange our 25 shinies for our first fish. We eat the fish to earn the achievement Snack Time, and also the ability to climb up the prevalent ivy that has been scattered throughout the town. I noticed this and I kinda saw it coming. Now we just need to get a couple more fish to have more climbing energy. Pretty much immediately after we enter the previously ivy-blocked area, we run into our next friend, Dad Duck, who has a little bit of a weird quest for us. He's taken his 4 ducklings into the city for a little bit of an adventure, and he wants everybody to come back and meet him for show and tell. Except he didn't tell them when or where to come back to, so now they're all scattered throughout the city, and we need to go find them. Other than the chameleon quest, this might actually be like the bulkiest quest in the game just by like raw things you need to do. He does leave us with a map of his kids' favorite spots though, so that's nice. And it also happens to have some drawings of some fish on it too. I found a rubber duck sitting nearby that I tried to bring to him, but that didn't work. I don't know what I was expecting here, really. And in this same little shrine area, we once again bump into Tanuki, who has another portal up and running, and at this point we can pretty much get all of the fast travels up if we're willing to pay for them. We go through the portal and come out on the other side where we meet a little Shiba dog. This happens to be the dog that scared us in the opening cutscene, but he was just being a little bit overly friendly. He also has a little quest where we go find tennis balls, but it's not worth including. I accidentally ran my head directly into a nearby vending machine to earn the achievement Who Needs Cash. This is actually an intended thing that I wouldn't have found otherwise, and it also leads to these little recycling machines we can use to exchange cans for shinies. I'm pretty happy I realized this right here at this point of the game because we have a pretty long grind ahead of us with this recycling machine later on. We also learn that Mr. Crow has moved on to his next grift. He now operates little gacha machines where we can exchange our shinies for different hats. There are a couple of these scattered throughout the city, and honestly they're pretty cool and we will need to do them, but we'll save our money for right now. I continue working on putting different items in the recycling bin to get that achievement going, but while we're doing that, we actually find a little bit of a super fan of us who of course comes over to give us pets, and we earn the achievement Cult of Personality for getting pet 10 times. Also a little update on the Chameleon questline. Yeah, you know we've been finding this guy. We're all the way up to part 3 of like 11 or something like that. Don't worry about it, it's fine. We stopped by a local arcade for totally business-related reasons, and we happened to find the first of the ducklings. We weren't even looking for them yet, but we found one here. The duckling says they're gonna keep standing here watching this video until it stops, and then they'll go find their dad. So I guess maybe we can wait and see if it just stops on its own, but it probably won't be that easy. We also find a second duckling hiding in our one true enemy, a water puddle. This one also says that they'll come once the water is dried up, so I think we're gonna have to take a more active role in things, but we'll come back later. We earn the achievement Give a Dog a Bone for putting 3 bones in 3 dog bowls. These are to get rid of the guard dogs that were blocking different areas of the map. Basically, we just have access to everything now. We enter a cool local shop that is entirely dedicated to a large lizard monster, which is naturally where we find a bunch of cool merch and the chameleon once again. Inside the shop we find a little model city that we go knock all the way over to earn the achievement Big Kitty Little City. It's a nice change of pace. We also see that this shop has a chessboard set up, so we go and knock all of the pieces off to earn the achievement Checkmate. Super cool that that was an achievement and they just knew what I was going to be thinking in there. We venture down yet another nearby alley where we find another blue trash can that we of course jump into. But when we jump out, we earn the achievement Dumpster Diving for investigating all 10 trash cans. That's cool, but what's even cooler is that a little sword pops out when we get out of that trash can. So my immediate idea is to go chase people with it. I was very hopeful that the people on the street would react to us, and they definitely did, and we even earned the achievement Killer Kitty right here. I am super thrilled that this game actually responds to the things that it knows the player is gonna do. I really love that part of this game. We climb back up to the top of that very same alley and we knock another soccer ball down into its yellow color coordinated goal. And this happens to be the 4th and final goal, which earns us the achievement Back of the Net. Feels like we're approaching the end game or something. Back in the main part of the city, I uncovered that sometimes there's a rare chance that when you headbutt one of the vending machines, a bunch of cans come out, and this is definitely a huge help for getting those recycling points up. But being a kitty isn't all the light side. Sometimes you have to dip a little bit into the dark side, and to get people's attention, you have to be just a little bit annoying. I earned the achievement What Sweet Music for meowing a bunch of times in a row. At this point, we're starting to wrap things up, so I decide it's time to return and get some of these ducklings recruited. First up is the arcade duckling, and the way I decide to shut the monitor off is by pouring a bunch of water on the electrical socket. That's probably a good idea. I immediately try to return this duckling to its dad, but the dad says, oh, you can go ahead and stick with the kitty until you find all of your siblings. Yeah, thanks for that one. There goes my whole evening. We return to the convenience store to get the second duckling, the only other one that we've seen so far, by solving a simple little puzzle where we pull a fan over to dry up the water. We also rescue a nearby fish that's been trapped in this ice, and that gives us a little bit more climbing power. I'm pretty much working on this recycling side goal every time I see a can out in the wild, and that's actually a pretty big help because it allows us to earn the achievement Fat Cat for collecting 200 shinies. I ventured into another little side garden area that I had completely missed before, and I uncovered the red mushroom hat. I immediately knew that I had to put this on because how could you not? This is just next level adorable, and I mean, come on, look at this little guy. We steal fish number 3 from a local fisherman, likely place to get it, and I'm sure he's not the type to get too angry about that sort of thing. We even managed to find another fish down by the docks, except this one is the kind that you wear on your head. Silly us. At this point, I decided to go venture up to the top of a nearby house where the last fish was marked on the map, and we find that this fish is out in the open, but it's actually being guarded by the worst enemy of all. A woman with a hose. That is like a deadly weapon, lady, come on. We sneak around the side of her to go ahead and turn off her water connection, and we just happen to be at the part of the quest where the chameleon was hanging out in this same area. I didn't even plan this, it just happened to work out, and hey, he's here, 2 birds, 1 stone sort of thing. And you know how we like birds. Once we shut the water off, the woman turns around to go turn the water back on and resume whatever she was doing with that awful weapon, but we managed to sneak past her and go ahead and grab the 4th and final fish to give us our ultimate climbing powers and the achievement Fantastic. We return back to our old stomping grounds from the very beginning of the game to earn the achievement Smash Hit for destroying a total of 200 items, fittingly in the same area where we earned the first smashing achievement. We didn't actually return back to the first area for no reason though. We've actually at this point opened up all of the different fast travel points except for the one at the very beginning, so we return to meet Tanuki one more time and we earn the achievement World Traveler for opening up all of those. And now with all of Tanuki's portals opened up, we really don't have any need for feathers anymore, but we were still missing 1 bird to catch, so we go ahead and catch that final one to earn the achievement Bird Botherer. Now seems like a pretty good time to go ahead and collect the rest of the ducklings, because I'm sure the dad is getting a little bit worried. One was hanging out inside a local laundromat, just kinda whipping around inside the dryer, so we go ahead and shut that off, and we've collected another one. And the 4th and final duckling was hanging out up on the roof of a nearby building, just floating up above a fan that was pointed into the air. We go ahead and drag a basket on top of that fan, which is not great for airflow, but it's pretty great for us because we earn the achievement Quack Troops for collecting all the ducklings. So with all of the ducklings collected, we bring them back to their dad and we get a big thank you, so now they can hang out in the nearby water and go back to their game of show and tell. But when I saw those ducklings floating around in the water, I decided to go ahead and grab that rubber duck one more time and drop it in with them, which actually turned out to be another achievement. I swear this game was like reading my mind with everything I wanted to do being an actual achievement. I spent a, frankly, just horribly embarrassing amount of time parkouring up onto a roof that was a little bit complicated to get to, but we find a cat napping in a sunbeam. We earn the achievement Hello Everyone for meeting every single animal that there is in the town, but there's one other thing that's interesting. I happen to know that we have one more cat napping location left, and this cat happens to be sitting in it. But there only seems to be one way to move this cat, and that's to go get them a bagel. So let's go do that. Yoink! We drop the new bagel off for the cat and ring the dinner time bell, which thankfully gets the cat to move. Pretty simple quest. But with that cat moved out of the way and the perfect sunbeam finally opened, we can go ahead and hop in this satellite dish and earn the achievement Cat Napper. At this point, I'm pretty much just scouring the map for anything I haven't done at this point. I climb up some nearby vines and find some buckets of paint that I push off onto a nearby car to earn the achievement No Parking. This is another one I kind of flunked into. I find a rooftop mini golf game that I try to go ahead and paw my way into the hole, but it turns out that this is a little bit harder than the soccer ball. And that rooftop mini golf set happened to belong to the social media influencer cat Taffy, who was arguing with our good friend Beetle, and we finally encouraged Beetle to have the courage to stand up to their boss. This was a pretty good scene, although it was a little bit of a whack camera angle, but good other than that. Justice for Beetle. I know we're really getting towards the end of this game when I finally wrap up Chameleon's questline as well. We've gone through a lot together, finding him basically everywhere all around this map, but he still is super visible to us. That is, until he realizes that his color is a completely different color than the thing that he's standing on, and he decides to go ahead and try to make that change happen, and it turns out that he can go invisible this whole time. He's just been wrong. Oh, Chameleon, you wacky little fella. But at least he gives us his top hat as a victory prize, I guess. We venture up to the top of a very high roof to destroy the 10th and final nest to earn the achievement Sticky Business. While climbing this building, we also run into Tanuki again, which seems a little bit weird and gets my mind thinking a little bit about what this means. And when I climb up a little bit more and come around another corner and see that there is a pool with all of the ducklings floating in it right there, I realize that this is where we need to climb to end the game, so we hop back down to clean up a little bit more. At this point, I decided to go around and start buying some more of the hats from the Crow's Gotcha machines, and I find the cowboy hat that of course I have to put on. I wish it was pink, but you know, it is what it is. This starts the for sure longest grind part of the game, where I basically just ran in a big loop around the map looking for people that were holding either cans that I could grab and go recycle, or cell phones that I could try to get to take my picture, because those are the two grindy achievements that we have left. I spent quite a bit of time running around in this big loop, and it actually took a surprising amount of time, but this is a pretty short game overall, so, you know, how much can you really complain? Eventually though, we managed to collect 100 cans and return them to the various recycling machines to earn the rarest achievement in this game, Litter Picker. And after a little bit more running, we finally managed to earn the second rarest achievement in the game, Local Celebrity, for getting photographed 20 times. This is probably the most annoying achievement IMO, but I could see Litter being a little bit worse if you didn't realize. Also, before we wrap things up here, I just want to do a little bit of a shout out to all of the hat designs that the dev team put in this game, because so many of them are very, very good, and you could definitely have fun with a lot of these. Obviously, there aren't like abilities or anything associated, they are just strictly cosmetic, but so many of them are so adorable, and it's a shame I only used a couple. We return to the center shrine area and find that the ducklings have once again returned down here, and we can add a couple more friends to the water as we drop in the 4th rubber duck and earn the achievement Rub-a-Dub-Dub. We still have a couple more achievements remaining, but at this point I decided we should go ahead and just finish the main game, and then we get access to the world again so we can just go ahead and clean everything up. We return to where we saw the ducklings before, and amazingly, they managed to beat us up on top of this apartment building. And this is another conversation where our camera got locked right here in just a very awkward position where we were under the water, but we couldn't see the water, and we just couldn't really see much of anything. Kind of a weird little bug here. We continue our climb up to the top, and I love a good game conclusion where you get to recap a little bit with all of the characters that you've met in the game throughout it. It's a lot of fun, and we even get to bump into the Chameleon again. I never thought we'd see this guy again, at least physically, you know, because of the invisibility stuff. Eventually, we managed to make it all the way back up to the top of the apartment building that we fell out of at the very start of the game using our new, extremely powerful climbing abilities. We return to the apartment and climb right back in to make another fire Facebook post, but just as we're settling in, we find that our human has come home and maybe didn't even notice that we were missing, who knows. But in a little bit of a surprise twist that was actually pretty touching for me, our owner goes ahead and puts a little collar on us, something that I didn't even think about being missing because, you know, as a house cat, we probably didn't need one. With some tears beginning to form in my eyes, I go ahead and name this cat Ronnie after my own cat, and the little kitty says, "That's me," which is just so adorable. I don't know if this moment would hit as hard if you weren't playing and like owning a cat that you had in mind while playing this game, but it was cute to me. Our owner walks away and we head back outside to talk with the crow one last time, who gives us a little bit of a map update that will allow us to find all of the missing collectibles. This is very useful for the hats that we missed, but we kinda did a lot of the other stuff. We lay back down to resume our catnap as we earn the achievement Home Sweet Home for making it back home, and Neighborhood Hero for finishing all of the items on our to-do list as the credits begin to roll. But obviously we're not done, we've got 5 achievements left, so it's time for us to go ahead and jump all the way back down into the city, and in a very weird fashion we hit the skybox and begin to slide slowly down back towards the city. I wasn't expecting this, but better than hitting the train, I guess. We climb back up to the influencer cat's apartment, and hiding right behind the area that we were in before is the final hat that we need to collect, which happens to be the sunflower hat, which is the cat's favorite color, which is a very cute one to end on. We earn the achievement Capped Crusader, and we're good to go. I also completely missed this cardboard box at the start of the game. Later on I learned that you could sleep in these for another achievement, but I missed the first one, so we go ahead and backtrack to earn the achievement If I Fits, I Sits. The worst achievement in this game is probably Papa Catsy, where we need to take 20 pictures with the in-game camera. I tried to take a couple while I was playing through the game, but I didn't take anywhere near 20, so we just spammed it at the end. The final two achievements of this game are things that I don't think I would have thought of ever, so it's good the internet exists. We go ahead and return to the mayor's store to collect a banana. We take that banana and place it in front of someone walking to make them slip and fall and earn the achievement Fruit Fall. But we targeted this person in particular for two reasons. One, that beret they were wearing just not working, and two, to grab their phone. We take that phone and return it to the construction area's porta potty and drop it in to earn the final achievement of the game, Splish, something that I definitely wouldn't have thought to do, but now we can say that we have officially done everything there is to do in Little Kitty Big City. So how did we do? I managed to finish Little Kitty Big City in just over 5 hours, but it could definitely be done much quicker if you knew about some of the farming that needed to be done from the very beginning, and if you didn't have a little kitty of your own kind of bothering you throughout playing this game. Not that I'm complaining. This game was super cool and I definitely had a good time playing it, but it did have a couple of issues. The game definitely started out, the controls were feeling a little bit rough, but by the end, things were definitely better and the movement was a lot more smoothed out. But, you know, it's kind of a little bit rough to start. I could definitely see somebody starting this and not liking the jump controls and kind of backing out of it, but I stuck with it and I had a good time. The only other real issue with this game is kind of something that I touched on. Sometimes things are just a little bit off. The camera angles are bad and you can't rotate it, or just little buggy things like that. Sometimes you'd be walking down the street and the cat would jump up in the air like you had just stepped into a puddle, but there was no puddle anywhere near. Sometimes you'd clip into the floor, but you'd be able to jump back out. Little small things like that that don't really affect the game in the long run, but were just a little bit annoying while playing the game. But overall, I had a good time and I really enjoyed it. Though, like I mentioned as well, I don't know if the ending would hit as hard if you didn't have a little kitty of your own that you were imagining playing this game as. And also, it would have been cool if you could customize your cat in this game, but maybe that would have been a little bit too skewing for like the art of the game or things like that. Overall, I would definitely give this game a recommendation though, and I hope you enjoyed checking this video out. As always, if you have thoughts about the video or anything that you want to tell me to play in the future, you can leave those down below in the comments section, and I hope to see you in next week's video as well. See you!